Most people will spend 40 years working at a job they hate, just to retire with a fraction of what they actually need. But what if I told you there's a way to retire in just 5 years, without paying a single cent in taxes? No, this is not a scam. And no, you don't need to win the lottery or become a tech billionaire. This is real, legal, and it's happening now, quietly, all across America. The only reason you haven't heard about it yet is because it wasn't made for people like us to find out. But today, I'm going to tell you everything. There's a reason why the rich never retire the same way the rest of us do. While we save in 401k funds and stress over retirements that barely cover the basics, they build their own systems. They don't play the game by the same rules, they write the rules. And there's a strategy gaining momentum among those tired of waiting for permission to live free, using Bitcoin combined with a very specific type of retirement account to create a tax-free income machine. If that sounds too crazy to be true, it's because you haven't yet realized what's happening right under your nose. Stay with me, because what you're about to hear could turn your financial life upside down. But before I show you how this works, do one thing for me. If this topic has already made your mind race, if you feel like you're finally hearing something that makes sense in a world full of financial lies, hit the like button right now. That tells the algorithm this truth needs to reach more people. And if you're not subscribed yet, what are you waiting for? Subscribe now, because this is just the beginning. Now let me take you back to 2017. Not to a fancy Wall Street office, but to dusty forums on Reddit. To cramped apartments in Phoenix, Detroit, Portland, where ordinary people started noticing something strange. Bitcoin, this weird digital currency, was exploding in value. And buried in financial blogs and lost comments on YouTube, some people began to piece together a plan. A loophole. A way to use something called a self-directed Roth IRA to invest in crypto, legally, and make money grow completely tax-free. Think about it. You take your already taxed money, put it in a Roth IRA, and instead of investing in traditional funds or bonds like everyone else, you become a rebel. You use this account to buy Bitcoin. Hold it. Let it grow. And if it appreciates, if it explodes like it has before, you owe $0 to the government. This is not fantasy. It's in the law. But no one talks about it because financial advisors don't make money teaching you to beat the system. They make money keeping you in it. They taught you to work hard, to follow the plan, to put money in funds you don't understand, praying for a distant day called retirement. But what they never told you is that the system needs your fear to survive. And the biggest one is fear of volatility. Bitcoin drops. You run. Stocks rise. You celebrate. But you never realized that the same system selling you stability is the one stealing your freedom. I remember the first time I saw my portfolio melt by 40% overnight. It was 2021. And everything in me wanted to hit sell. But I didn't. Because right there, in that chaos, I understood a truth that changes everything. Those who dare to endure the chaos reap the silence of freedom. Volatility is not a problem. It's the price of opportunity. The new generation of millionaires isn't afraid of the roller coaster. Because they know that, at the end of the ride, those who stayed in the car are the ones who reach the top. The question is, will you get off before you get there? They call it a career. Progress. Stability. But the real name is invisible prison. You wake up at 6, face traffic, answer emails that don't matter, attend meetings that could be a paragraph. You come home exhausted. Sit on the couch. Sleep poorly. And repeat all that for 40 years. You know what that is? A time-stealing machine. And time is the only currency that never comes back. The system built this illusion on you. Made you think a 3% raise per year is a victory. That 15 days of vacation a year is freedom. That retiring at 67, if you're lucky, is the best you can hope for. But what if it's all just a trick? What if you could disconnect from that gear and use the gears to your advantage? The 5-year strategy with Bitcoin and tax structure isn't just about money. It's about time. It's about taking back the days the system tried to steal from you. It's about living now, not just when your body is too tired to enjoy. When you understand that the world spins around those who control time, you stop selling yours for so little. Do you know what a bank is? It's not that glass building downtown. The real bank is the system that holds, multiplies, and protects assets without the public seeing it. It's invisible, and the rich use it every day. You know why? Because they understood that real money doesn't live in checking accounts. It lives in structures, in assets, in legal vehicles that shield wealth from inflation, taxes, and government eyes. The Roth IRA is just the tip of the iceberg. Behind it, there's a world of trusts, LLCs, cold storage wallets, collateralized loans, tools not taught in school. Because you're not supposed to know this. But here's a secret. The new bank has no branches. It has blockchain, smart contracts, anonymity. The new elite builds wealth without relying on Chase, Wells Fargo, or any other dinosaur of the traditional banking system. They move values between wallets, tokenize real estate, lend to each other without intermediaries. And they do all this with one thing in common: knowledge. And the question is, how many videos like this will you watch before deciding to build your own invisible bank? You know the story. Contribute to the 401k, the company matches a part, you invest in managed funds, and one day you retire safely. Sounds comfortable, right? But what no one tells you is that this model was born in the 70s, and was made for a world that no longer exists. The economy changed. Inflation eats buying power year after year. The dollar isn't what it used to be. And the financial market became a jungle manipulated by algorithms, corporations, and insiders. The truth. The traditional retirement plan is a modern trap. A cycle of controlled hope. You hand over your money for decades, accept the promise that everything will work out, and when you realize it, you're 65 with an amount that barely covers your medical costs. The plan isn't made for you to win. It's made so you don't give up. But there is another way. One where you take control. Where you pick the asset. Where you understand the risks, but truly reap the rewards. This path is called strategy. It demands you stop believing in promises, and start acting like someone in a hurry to live. Because waiting 40 years isn't security. It's giving up. Some believe freedom is a mansion in Malibu or a private jet in Aspen. But true freedom, the kind no one can confiscate, fits in your pocket. Literally. It's stored in 12 words. A recovery code. A private key. What few understand is that, for the first time in history, you can carry your entire retirement in your memory. You can cross borders with millions of dollars without declaring a cent. You can rebuild your life anywhere in the world without going through a bank agency. This is the silent revolution Bitcoin brought. It's not just about appreciation. It's about portability, sovereignty, invisibility. And that scares those who control the game. That's why governments are afraid. That's why bankers attack. Because the system has never had so much control, and at the same time, has never been so vulnerable. A cold wallet, a piece of paper with words written down, a chip hidden in a keychain, and done. You can disappear off the radar and keep living. This is the new frontier of freedom. And it begins when you realize the key to your future isn't in an account. It's with you. They say there's no free lunch. And they're right. But no one talks about the plate the rich eat from while others wash the dishes. You know what they do with their bitcoins? They don't sell. They lend. They secure dollar loans using their crypto assets as collateral. This is called crypto-backed loans, and it's one of the best-kept secrets of the new digital elite. It works like this. You deposit your bitcoins on a secure platform. They get locked there as collateral. In return, you receive dollars or stablecoins. With this, you don't have to sell, you avoid taxes, and still keep the potential for appreciation. It's like mortgaging a property, but the property is digital, mobile, and grows over time. While most people get into credit card debt, strategists use their assets as a source of smart liquidity. They finance their projects, buy land, start businesses, all without touching the base of their wealth. The game has changed. Today, those who understand collateral live without selling their most valuable assets. And the question is, are you mortgaging your future, or using the system to finance your freedom? If you were born in the United States, you probably grew up believing the dollar is eternal. That it's the safest currency in the world. That everything will collapse. Accept it. But what if I told you the empire itself is crumbling? Not visibly. Not overnight. But slowly. Like wood being eaten from the inside. Since 1971, the dollar is no longer backed by gold. It's backed by promises. By trust. And that trust is crumbling. Countries are making deals without the dollar. Central banks are buying gold at historic levels. State digital currencies are emerging. And in the middle of this, you keep receiving your salary in paper, which is worth less and less. Inflation is not an accident. It's an invisible tax. And while you work for dollars, those who understand the game are accumulating Bitcoin. Because Bitcoin doesn't ask for permission. It doesn't inflate. It doesn't depend on faith in any institution. It's a mathematical, scarce, auditable, and international asset. And sooner or later, everyone will want to escape the dollar empire. But those who leave first will be the ones building the new world. For a long time, you were told that security meant owning a home, having a fixed address, and bank accounts in your name. But what if I told you the new form of security is being invisible? There is a silent movement growing among those who understood that borders are just imaginary lines, and that true freedom is achieved when you learn to live nowhere. This has a name: flag theory. The theory of flags. The idea is simple. Diversify everything. Your citizenship, your tax residence, your company, your assets, and your lifestyle. Live in one country. Have a bank account in another. Invest in a third. Spend most of your time in a fourth country where you are just a visitor. Why? Because laws change. Taxes rise. Freedoms disappear. But what can't be tracked can't be confiscated. And do you know what fuels this new way of living? Crypto. With Bitcoin, you don't need to be tied to a local bank. With a hardware wallet and a laptop, you have more power than a NASDAQ executive. While the world closes down, the truly free are learning to live, unbound, rootless, but with purpose. And you? Are you ready to raise your flag where your freedom is respected? Have you ever imagined living in a country where you make the rules? Where there is no capital gains tax, where your retirement grows freely, where your company answers only to you? It sounds like utopia. But it's happening, not on the geopolitical map, but in the financial universe. And it all starts with one idea. Build your own economic micronation. This doesn't require territory. It requires structure. An LLC registered in the right state. A self-directed Roth IRA with full control. Multi-currency accounts. An alternative passport. A Bitcoin wallet immune to inflation. All of this working like a gear. A network you operate yourself. You wake up in the morning, and your system is already working for you. Receiving payments in stablecoins, renting digital properties, reinvesting automatically. And the best part? All this without asking for permission. While millions still live as servants of the system, the new sovereigns are rising with a computer, a plan, and an internet connection. The question is, will you keep believing only the government can take care of your future, or will you start founding your own financial nation today? They don't appear in fidelity commercials. Nor do they show up in the newspapers. But they are out there. Working from laptops in cafes in Thailand. Exploring the Croatian coast with a backpack and a cell phone. Taking care of their kids during the day and closing deals online at night. They are the secret retirees. People who understood that retirement is not about stopping work. It's about stopping dependence. And many of them did this before turning 30. Mixing strategy, detachment, and digital assets. They didn't want a yacht. They wanted time. They didn't invest in safe funds. They bet on decentralization. Created online businesses. Opened companies in low-tax countries. Bought Bitcoin little by little. Lived with less. And today live with more. More control, more freedom, more peace. Society doesn't understand them. Their families think they're wasting time. But they've already won. Because while most live waiting for the weekend, they live each day as an end in itself. And if you think this is privilege, think again. It's choice. And this choice can still be yours. You feel it, don't you? The heavy silence when someone mentions Social Security. The empty gaze of retirees trying to survive on less than $1,800 a month. The collective denial that the system is sinking. But the truth is clear in the numbers. The American Social Security Trust Fund is projected to run out in less than a decade. Congress knows. Economists know. The wealthy have known for a long time. But no one tells you. Because you shouldn't prepare. You should keep contributing. Keep believing. Wait for a rescue that will never come. The collapse of Social Security won't come with sirens. It will come with delays. Silent cuts. Changing rules. Adjustments that don't keep up with inflation. And, in the end, a cold warning, you will have to work longer. But there is a different path. The path of independence. The path of actively building an alternative retirement, with real assets, smart tax structures, and long-term vision. It's not easy. But it's possible. And when chaos is finally admitted, you will be one of the few not caught by surprise. Because you will have left the ship before it started to sink. They think about leaving houses, land, accounts. But you will leave freedom. Because the true inheritances of the 21st century are not in banks. They are in blockchains. You can build a silent empire, invisible but indestructible, that your child can access with a key. A 12-word code. A sequence that holds years of strategy, vision, and courage. Think about it. A cold wallet stored securely. A trust that transfers access automatically. A holding company that protects assets in multiple jurisdictions. All of this without intermediaries. No transfer tax. No paperwork. You are not just building wealth. You are building a legacy that transcends the system. One that doesn't depend on the dollar, the stock market, the government, or luck. Your grandchildren can be born free, because you had the courage to break the cycle. While traditional families accumulate heavy real estate and hidden debts, the new patriarchs leave something far more valuable: sovereignty. It's not about how much you earn. It's about what you leave behind. And if the world falls apart tomorrow, what kind of invisible inheritance will your children discover when they open your last message? I talked to people who started with only $6,000, which is the annual contribution limit. They opened a self-directed Roth with a company that allows crypto investments. Bought Bitcoin at $4,000. Then at $10,000. Then again at $30,000. Saw the price rise. Saw it fall. But in 5 years, those $6,000 turned into 6 figures. Some even reached 7. And every dollar of that growth, untouchable by the government. That is the power of the Roth. Now imagine this. You do this for 5 years. Don't touch the money. Create a side income. Could be Airbnb, remote work, or living lean for a while. But that Bitcoin stays there, intact, growing. Silently. Legally. And when you're ready, you start using the Roth to invest in rental properties, dividend stocks, even small businesses, all within that same tax protection. This is how real freedom is built. Not in 40 years, but in 5. And here is where it gets even more interesting. Most people think you can't touch Roth money until age 59 and a half. But that's not the whole truth. You can withdraw your contributions, the money you put in, at any time, penalty-free. And if you set up the right structure, you can use that to build your life while the rest continues to grow inside. That's what no one tells you. What they hope you never find out. But look, this strategy is not for everyone. It demands courage, discipline, patience. Most people are too stuck in comfort, too afraid of volatility, too programmed to follow the herd. But if you're still here, watching, I know you're different. You're the kind who doesn't want to just survive. You want to break the chains. You want to win. So tell me, what are you doing today that will buy your freedom in 5 years? Still waiting for the government to save Social Security? Still hoping your 401k won't crash? Or are you ready to build something no one can take from you? If you are, subscribe to the channel now. I'll keep bringing strategies, truths, and stories they prefer to keep hidden. But it only works if we spread the word. And look, if you're thinking, this sounds amazing, but I don't even know where to start, that's okay. Everyone starts like this. What matters is that you heard this. That you opened your eyes. Because once you see the system for what it really is, there's no going back. You shouldn't know you can retire in 5 years. You shouldn't know you can use Bitcoin inside a tax-free shield. But now you do. A guy I talked to used exactly this method to retire at 38. Today he lives off-grid in rural Idaho, runs 2 small businesses, and hasn't declared a cent of profit since 2020. Another built a tiny house village in Georgia with profits from a Bitcoin bet made through a Roth IRA. These people aren't Wall Street suits. They're ordinary people, like you, who had the courage to think differently. And I'll be honest, this strategy isn't flashy. You won't see it viral on TikTok. It won't impress your uncle at Christmas dinner. But if you start now, in 5 years, you can wake up and never have to obey anyone again. That's real retirement. It's not a number. It's not an age. It's the moment your money works harder than you. So before you scroll away, before you forget this, ask yourself, what would your life be like if you never had to trade time for money again? Because the path is right in front of you. You just need to walk it. And if this touched you, deep down, I need you to do 2 things. Click like so more people hear this truth. And comment below, would you bet 5 years for your freedom? Because the system bets you won't. But I think you will.